In 1982, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken found success in Little Shop of Horrors, and that success was one no one saw coming. Plans for a film were quick in motion, with Howard turning in a preliminary outline in November of that year, and officially signing on to write the screenplay in August of 1983. Going through a who's who of directors and producers, including Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, John Landis, and Barbra Streisand. Maybe, at some point, Frank Oz would helm the production when it began shooting in October of 1985 for a December 86 release. With the musical and film both spending years in development, a wealth of material was written before ending up on the cutting room floor, most of which has never seen the light of day. Housed in the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. is the Howard Ashman Archive, a large collection of materials relating to Howard and his work. Over the past few years, I've combed through every libretto, screenplay, outline, demo, and work tape for Little Shop I could find, all in an effort to uncover some of its lost materials and satiate my, and hopefully your, curiosity. I'm Josh Hoskington, and welcome to Off the Cutting Room Floor. Episode 1, Somewhere That's Green, the original draft.
Just a daydream of mine. A little development I dream of. Just off the interstate. Not fancy like Levittown. Just a little street in a little suburb, far, far from urban Skid Row. Oh, I dream about it all the time. Just me. And the toaster. And a sweet little guy like Seymour.
In the lead-up to the Encore's off-cinema production of Little Shop of Horrors in 2015, many pieces about the show were published, most of which were about its history and original leading lady, Ellen Greene. In one of those articles, something interesting came to light. Introducing a performance by Ellen Greene during a radio interview with Ira Weithman of WBAI in the early 80s, Howard introduced Audrey as an ex-sex worker
with bleached blonde hair and a black eye, because her boyfriend is not nice to her. And she is secretly in love with Seymour, and she's been holding a dream of a better life inside her.
The song Somewhere That's Green, where Audrey shares that dream of a better life, serves as one of the emotional pillars of the show. The score's I Want song.
In almost every musical ever written, there's a place that's usually about the third song of the evening. Sometimes it's the second, sometimes it's the fourth, but it's quite early, and the leading lady usually sits down on something and sings about what she wants in life. And the audience falls in love with her, and then roots for her to get it for the rest of the night.
In an appearance on Midday Live, Howard explained that Little Shop was a takeoff and parody of the traditional American musical, saying,
"Women have been doing that in musicals for years. The difference is our girl, Audrey, is singing about a toaster and a tract house and a garbage disposal instead of a castle in the sky somewhere."
However, it appears as though that wasn't always the case. First published on June 30th, 2015, in the Playbill article Never Before Seen Pictures and Anecdotes from the Creation of Little Shop of Horrors, concise, an early draft of the lyrics show that Somewhere That's Green was originally written as a duet between Audrey and Seymour. With campier lyrics and a slightly different structure, Somewhere That's Green may have been the show's original love song, perhaps written during the original Carmen-esque approach, before being replaced by Suddenly Seymour. Unfortunately, as of this recording, there's no real way to know for certain, as Alan Menken hasn't commented on this early version, and the earliest story materials in the Howard Ashman archive feature Suddenly Seymour as the show's love song, and Somewhere That's Green doesn't appear into the second draft of the libretto, already in its final form. This has been Off the Cutting Room Floor. The voice of Audrey was Samantha, host of the podcast Perhaps It's You. Follow Perhaps It's You on Twitter at Perhaps It's You. The voice of Howard Ashman was Davis, host of the podcast Jacks of Trades. Follow Jacks of Trades on Twitter at JacksTradesPod. Opening and closing theme, Always Slept So Soundly, is by Sarah Sue, off the album Domestications. They can be found at soundcloud.com/SarahSue and on Twitter at SarahSueMusic. Got corrections? Want to get in touch? Shoot me a message at Josh Hosky on Twitter, the show at OTCRRoomPod everywhere, or send an email to cuttingroompod@gmail.com. To view sources, transcripts, and corrections, visit cuttingroompod.tumblr.com. And hey, thanks. introducing a performance by Ellen Greene during a radio interview with Ira Weissman of WBAI in the early 90s. 90s?